Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of How to Program in Java, and I need to get some water. Oh yeah, okay, it's summer. Love summer. Not really. Alright, so we're going to get into if statements. And if statements are a big part of programming. Basically, if you want to check for something, like if a number is 1 or if a number is 2, that's how you would go about it. So we're going to go into this stuff. Right now I'm going to delete all this stuff. And we're gonna get some practice into what we learned in the last video about classes. So we're gonna go into our class called Yard right now. We're gonna learn about if statements. So let's imagine, and another thing about Java, you can make 3D applications in games. If you think that's think I know about anything about vectorizing and all that crazy stuff, I jumped ship off of that. So all right, so we're gonna get into our little yard. Think of this as a yard. So what do? So we're gonna create all these as public and static just for the heck of it, and we're gonna call this int trees. So how many trees do we have in our yard? Let's say we have 21 trees just for the heck of it. Public static int. How many ponds do we have? We have one pond. We have just one single pond. Public static int ditches. We need to know how many ditches we have. We got 3. Public static int buildings. We have 2 buildings. And public static int sheep. Because you got to have sheep on your yard, you know? Let's have 18 sheep. I mean, that's a lot of sheep. Alright, so, and why not give sheep type? And let's say we have hair sheep. You know, they're sheep that don't grow wool. They're hair sheep. And they don't grow, their hooves don't grow as much either. They're pretty cool. Alright, so we just built our dream yard right here, and I'm just going to comment out. So we're going to build our dream yard here. We got our dream yard, and we're going to do some stuff here. Alright, so we're going to learn a lot right now about if statements, greater than, less than. You know, if you're in school and you learn about greater than and less than, those things are going to be your best friend in programming. And we're going to be utilizing a couple of those. It's going to be a silly program, but you know what? Who cares? Alright, so we're going to start. Obviously, we need to call our yard, so we're going to do yard equals new yard. Man, we're speaking like computers right now. Alright, so now we're going to access yard. So we're going to access our yard, yard.access. Bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop. Alright, so now we're accessing our yard, and inside access, we're going to do all the stuff, all the checking, I'm sorry. So how do we build an if statement? How do we do this? It's pretty easy. You just do if, parentheses, and then inside the parentheses, you declare what you want. So let's get over a couple types. I'm actually going to make a few more things because there's some very, very serious information we need to get into. So we're going to get into Boolean. We're just going to call this B, and we're going to make it false. And we're going to do one for, yeah, I think that's good. All right. So there's three ways. I mean, there's more than three ways, but I'm going to give you three ways of checking for things that are really general, and you're going to use it a lot. And if you watched our previous videos about two lowercase and two uppercase, I recommend you see that because you can actually plug in your two lowercase and uppercase in this to, do checking and in lowercase. And I know it sounds silly, but you're going to want to use that one day. All right, so let's get into this. How do we check how many trees we have? Well, actually, we know how to check how many trees we have, but let's say we only have 8 trees, right? Actually, let's say we only have 21 trees because we want to check this. And this is not going to be used. We're just going to check. We're just going to check. So we have 21 trees, right? Right here. And we want to check for the 21 trees, if it's 21 trees. And then we system out something just to let us know that we have done something. You have 21 trees. Alright, so let's run this program. It says you have 21 trees. Alright, let's say we only have 29 trees. What happens? Absolutely nothing. So let's say we don't have 21 trees, but we want to check for if it's not 21 trees. So we do else. And we can do this. We can do system out. Print line. You do not have 21 trees. Alright. Let's run that. Oh, we do not have 21 trees. You see? Alright. So we just learned how to build if statements. So if we want to check if it's greater than 21 trees, all you have to do is do that. That's the greater than sign. This is the less than sign. So greater than. So basically this is going to mean if trees, or if 21 is greater than trees, then you have it. Obviously, we're just going to leave this for now, but we obviously, hold on. Hold up. I'm so sorry. So this is correct. We do not have 21 trees. Just forget about that. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna actually say you have less than 29 trees, and then you have more than 29 trees. So, oh, you have less than 29 trees. So this just absolutely makes sense now. I'm so sorry again. I messed up. All right. There we go. It should. Oh man. This is the other way around, man. All right. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. All right. I'm trying to teach you. All right. We have more than 21 trees. Is that true? That would be true. Let's put 19 trees. You have less than 21 trees. So you see, this is actually going to be useful because what if you have a grade? What if you're making a grading software or something where each time you get an answer correct, you add +1, and we're going to actually do that later in the series, but you add +1, and if the score is, and then at the end you check the score, if the score is maybe 20, if it's greater than 23, because maybe the threshold's 24, and all you have to do is, if it's greater than 23, whatever is after is already checked. You don't have to check for each and every single number. So that's why you're going to be using greater than and less than quite a bit. I'm giving you a super noob version of this because I'm not doing it right. All right, so if trees is less than 21, trees is 19. You have less than 21 trees. This is correct. Let's say we have 21 trees. Uh-oh. Well, it's going to say you have more than 21 trees, but actually this is wrong. So how do we check for this being correct? Well, there's something called, I think, else if. Else if. Am I doing it right? Yes, okay. So else if trees equals 21, then we do this, and then if this is not true, then else, all else fails, then we say we have more than 21 trees. That's very confusing, but yeah, you're getting the idea, I think. So this is going to check three things. You have exactly 21 trees. So this is going to check three things. Right here, the first thing it's going to check, first condition, is trees less than 21? That's what if trees is less than 21 means. And if it's true, because this returns like a Boolean true or false, and if it's true, then you have less than 21 trees, it's going to tell us. Else if trees is equal to 21, and the reason why we do else if is because when we close this line, that's it for this if statement. But when we do else, it's like we're branching if statements with each other. And so, you're not going to, there's other ways to branch if statements. We're going to get into that. Else if trees equals 21, well, it's going to say we have exactly 21 trees. And if that fails, then we have more. So hopefully this should say that we have exactly. You have exactly 21 trees. All right, let's say we have 22 trees. Oof, what's going to happen? I should have more. You have more than 21 trees. What happens if I have, I don't know, 20 trees because I'm cool? You have less than 21 trees, so I'm not cool. That's what happens when you exalt yourself. I do not have 21 trees. Okay, so we just got into greater than, less than, and let's get into the next one. Let's look at ponds. If ponds equals 1, so what the heck does equals mean? Well, you would think in an if statement you put equals, but I don't understand why you just put equals. So just, you do that in most programming languages, so we just do equals. So I don't know why. I'm not the guy that designed everything, okay? All right, so if this is that, then we'll just say system.out.print line 1. Boom. Okay. All right, so let's take if ponds equals 2 and 3. So we're going to take this and make this if it's 2 and if it's 3. And these are three separate if statements. So I think you're beginning to understand how useful these are going to be in making your programs. So so we have we have 2 ponds. Well, we have 1 pond. So it's going to say 1. So we have 2 ponds. Yeah, it's going to say 2. So we have 3 ponds. It's going to say 3. So you can see that this is going to be a lot of what you're going to be doing when it comes to programming. So we just got over numbers. We're going to do some more numbers because we want to do less than, just so you get it in your head. All right, so let's say let's say ditches is less than, wait, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I never remember. This is greater than, I think. Either way, it's greater than. Just, let's say it's greater than 3, just for the heck of it. Actually, I'm going to show you something. You can actually take 2 variables, and you can actually take you can take as many as you want. You can take as many as you want, honestly. But let's say this is less than. I'm forgetting these brackets are getting me. All right, so let's say if ditches is greater than trees. All right, that's cool. Well, ditches obviously right now is not greater than trees, so we're just going to make that true. And if it's true, then system out. Print line. Yep. Just do it. There. Alright, so let's run this guy. Oh, we have yup. And let's make this ditches 19, 9, and now nothing. Alright, so that's basically greater than. Well, take everything you've learned so far and think reverse. What if we wanted to ask, hey, if this is 1, what if it's not equal to 1? And that can be used for a number of things. It will check for every other value. Boom. This is new idea here. Give me a second. The operator is defined for the argument type in. Oof. Oof. Oh man. Yeah, I really do not remember where you're supposed to. Yeah. No? Is that it? Okay. I'm sorry. Give me a moment. So the exclamation mark basically means does not equals. So what if we wanted to take trees equals 2? In this case, we have to put it right here, but there's going to be some cases where you can put that right there where I put it. So what if it does not equal 2? Well, obviously right now it does not equal 2. So it's going to check for every other number but 2. And it's going to say, yup. And I'm going to check for 2. And it's going to say nothing. So this is another thing you can do. You can do does not equals. And basically, that basically simplifies it, because if you wanted to check for if it was less than 2, you'd get 1 in every negative number, but then you'd have to have another if statement to check for if it was greater. So in this case, if I know all you had to do was put if it equals 2, or if it's actually, yeah, if it's greater than or less than. But what this is doing, it's just gonna check whatever the number is and just pop it in. So if it's not 2, then that's it. So you don't have to check for if it's less than or greater than, and you just put this in and there you go. So that just simplifies a lot. You can use if statements for booleans too. And I was talking about in earlier videos, you saw me making things. This is how you make settings for your program. So what if the user said, oh, I don't want sounds, then whatever thing plays sounds, well, if it's not true, sounds are not true, then you're not going to play the sound. So this is basically how you do settings. If b equals true, and this is just the easiest thing, then we're going to do system.out print line true, and else system.out print line not true. And I forgot to make this a string. Remember string. All right, run this. Not true. That's right, it's not true because it's false. But if I make it true, oop, it's true. So that is how you check a boolean. It's really easy. There's really only 2 values you can have, true or false. So there's not a whole lot of, Einstein work in that one. All right, so what about strings? Well, you would think in an ideal situation, you would say if sheep type equals hair sheep, you would think that this would work, right? You would think that would work. It does not. This does not, because I think it has something to do with like a Boolean thing. I think if statements just check for Booleans or something, and I think this doesn't return, true or false. I don't know. So you would think it would work like that, but it does not. So this is how we do it. Dot contains, and then we put in these parentheses what we want. dot contains here heap, and I gotta close this off. So we just checked. This is how you check a string. It's really easy. All you have to do is if the string dot contains the words that you want it to contain. And this is what I was talking about with the exclamation point, meaning negative, negate whatever is being said here. Because if you wanted to check for if it does not contain hair sheep, we would do the exclamation point. So that's how you check for if it does not. If you want to check for if it does, then you do that. So let's check for if it does. System.out.println. That's getting annoying. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make voids, and we're going to make an example void that's going to make this easier. We're just going to change system.out.println to print, because I think you understand what system out and all that is now, so it's getting annoying typing that all day. Alright, so system.out.println, we're going to say, this is hair sheep. Alright. This is hair sheep. Now, what if it's not hair sheep? Obviously, we're going to have to change, we'll have to change this to this is not hair sheep. And we're going to have to change this to just like, we're going to have to just change this to whatever we want. Hair sheep. And this is not hair sheep. This is another thing that you're going to be doing all the time with if statements. Let's say we have this as hair sheep. What if we got user input and people just put in like uppercase, lowercase, dot? No, just get rid of the dot. Well, what if our program only understood one type, hair sheep, right? Like this. And that's the ideal way of doing it, really. Well, this is going to check for if it contains hair sheep. But because this is hair sheep uppercase, things aren't going to go our way. So before we check for if it contains something, we need to change this to dot to lowercase. So this is how we do it. Boom. Right there. We just solved world hunger. No, we didn't. But right here, we run this. This is hair sheep, and this would not be possible unless we change this to lowercase. So I can change this to hair sheep. Run that, and it still checks for if it's hair sheep. Another thing is to uppercase, which we went into, and if you've played Star Wars Battlefront if you played Star Wars Battlefront, the original game, like all the text is uppercase, even though I'm pretty sure they didn't put everything in uppercase. Yeah, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. Hair sheep. Yep, this is hair sheep. Alright, so there's something called, I think, nesting. I don't know if that's correct. Let's show you how to nest if statements. So it's pretty simple. So what if you wanted to check for one thing, and then after you check that, you want to check another thing, and if that's true, then that. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to give you an easy example. So I'm going to do trees equals 2, which is right here. And then if that's true, then we'll check one more time if buildings equals 2. And if that is true, then we'll system out print line. You have 2 trees and buildings. All right. And we run, and it says you have 2 trees and buildings. But let's say one of these is not correct. What if we only have 1 building and 2 trees? Well, it's not going to tell us anything. And again, proof of concept. I take this to 1. I take this to 2. It's going to be nothing. Let's say I change this to -2. Well, it's going to be nothing. But if I change this to 2, you have 2 trees and buildings. So that is how you nest if loop. That's how you nest an if statement. And that's pretty useful for if you want to check multiple things. Uh, maybe you have a game where maybe a certain condition has to be true in order to access a menu. And maybe you have to get to a certain level in order for a certain part of the menu to show up, because that's what you can do. And we're going to show you. I'm not gonna really actually build this out, but I'm just gonna give you a good idea of how much you could do with this. You could do like something where one thing has to be true, and then we go to another, and that has to be true, and another that has to be true, and another that has to be true, and then we give you. But ideally, you really don't need to do this unless it's specific, because unless it's really specific, you should just be able to do if something is true, check that, and then if something else is true, check that. That way you don't have to keep putting a bunch of if loops, because you can think of one of these as like 10 if loops if you were trying to check every single condition together. So we really only have to check one condition at a time, unless there's something super specific that you need. I believe we've just gone through a ton of information. I'm gonna let y'all. I mean, I'm telling you, the biggest. You're gonna want to type everything down as you're learning. You're gonna want to pause the video, and the series is gonna begin to get more complex. I'm gonna have to research some stuff because there's a bunch of stuff I don't even know that I have set up for this series. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully your endeavors in programming go well, and God bless you, and goodbye.